The story begins as a spaceship crash lands on a planet, which is actually Earth in ancient times. The impact sends vibrations throughout the area, and the ship finally settles in the middle of a lake. Two men in spacesuits emerge, and one quickly helps his companion. Then, as he is about to lose consciousness, memories of his past flash through his mind. When he awakens, he finds that his friend has died from a chest wound. Soon, the man hears an automated, robotic-sounding voice and discovers it's a computer submerged in the water. He communicates with it in an unfamiliar language to ask for information about the planet and the location of other ships. The computer replies that no other ships are in the vicinity. The pilot then instructs the computer to download and transfer a large amount of data about this world to him, which includes details on its civilizations, species, languages, and cultures. This proves difficult to comprehend. After the data transfer is complete, he is revitalized and begins practicing his shooting skills with a powerful weapon. As night falls, the man digs a grave for his fallen companion. Then, a new mission begins for the visitor from another world. That mission is to survive in this unfamiliar land, amidst a vast forest, with only a weapon for protection. During his exploration, he discovers the carcass of a whale next to a destroyed village. It is filled with signs of an attack by a non-human creature. Realizing he is being watched, the man from another world tries to escape, but is knocked unconscious by a warrior, his weapon falling into the river. The alien is taken to a nearby Viking village, surrounded by a strong and sturdy wooden fence. Inside the great hall, Freya, a young woman, is sparring with her father, King Hrothgar. During the fight, Freya makes it clear that she will not marry Wulfric. The young man proposed to be the heir to the throne. The duel ends when Hrothgar strikes Freya's shoulder before immediately tending to her wound. Wulfric then appears. His arrogant and haughty demeanor further displeases Freya, causing her to walk away. Hrothgar and Wulfric discuss the destroyed neighboring village. Wulfric mentions that during a patrol, they captured a stranger who doesn't seem to be from any village they know. The person he's referring to is the man from another world who was just captured. He is brought before the villagers, and everyone laughs at the strange suit he is wearing. Wulfric takes the man to a hut. He begins a serious interrogation by asking for his name, and the man from another world replies that his name is Kynan. Kynan lies, claiming he is from an island to the north and came here to hunt a dragon, but none of the Vikings believe him. They suspect Kynan is the one who attacked the nearby village. Kynan tries to escape, but is ultimately overpowered by the Vikings. After being captured, Kynan attempts to escape again, using a burning iron rod as a weapon. But before he can succeed, Freya appears. She tends to him under Wulfric's orders. Later, Hrothgar asks Wulfric for an update on the stranger, but the response is that Kynan is still not cooperating. Hrothgar advises Wulfric that they should go find Gunnar, the leader of the attacked village, and insists that the incident was not their doing. But Wulfric hesitates, still resentful of Gunnar for killing his father, the village's previous king. But Hrothgar explains that what happened that day was because his father was too reckless, and Hrothgar doesn't want Wulfric to meet the same end. Elsewhere, Freya confronts Kynan and asks him directly if he attacked the village. Kynan denies it and seizes the opportunity to break free from his bonds. He attacks Freya and her guard. Kynan takes down the guard and escapes into the night. His plan is almost successful, but an alarm sounds, announcing that an enemy is approaching. The Vikings rise and prepare for a fight, thinking it's Gunnar leading an army for revenge. But when they go outside, they find no one there. The enemy has already snuck into the village unnoticed. They begin to slaughter people viciously and set everything on fire. Their enemy is not human, but a strange, tentacled creature hiding in the animal pen. Kynan immediately chases after the monster. At the same time, a guard chases after Kynan, but he is killed by the monster. Kynan calls the creature a Moin, the real dragon he was hunting. before Kynan could pursue it. The Vikings find him first and tie Kynan to a rock. Then, a memory flashes into his mind again. It's the moment when the Merwin attacked his home planet, and Kynan feels immense grief for that loss. The next morning, a boy in the village brings Kynan some bread, which he accepts with suspicion. The village's warriors are trying to figure out who was behind last night's attack, so they bring Kynan to Hrothgar to ask about the dragon he is hunting. Kynan explains frankly that the Merwin is the same creature that attacked his people. It lures its prey with light before brutally killing them. He also confesses that he is the one who led the Merwin to this village. Before Kynan can be executed, Hrothgar intervenes, saying that although he doesn't fully believe Kynan's story, he cannot judge him immediately. When Kynan learns the Vikings intend to hunt the Merwin, he volunteers to join them. Hrothgar agrees and orders a horse to be given to Kynan. Before they leave, Freya punches him in the face to get revenge for his earlier attack on her. Then, everyone leaves the village to hunt the monster that threatens them. Boromir, the blacksmith, offers Kynan some meat, but he spits it out immediately. Then Hrothgar starts a conversation with Kynan. Kynan warns him that if they cannot stop the Merwin, this village will face the same end. As his home planet, Wulfric reports finding several bodies in the area and suggests they split up to search, but Kynan disagrees, thinking they should stick together for safety. However, Hrothgar orders everyone to split into pairs instead. During their search, Hrothgar and Boromir are shocked when a severed horse head falls in front of them. Meanwhile, another group finds a burnt corpse at the mouth of a cave. Soon, they hear a scream from inside. Everyone gathers to enter the cave. There, they find a bear. Then, the fight begins. The bear is strong and fierce, but Kynan manages to defeat it with his sword. Therefore, Hrothgar decides to spare Kynan's life and grant him his freedom as a reward. The villagers hold a great feast to celebrate this victory, and Kynan reappears in traditional Viking attire, surprising everyone and earning a warm welcome. Kynan sits at the table with Hrothgar, and during the meal, the boy who gave him bread approaches him. In return, Kynan gives the boy the sword he used to kill the bear, on the condition that the boy tells him his name. The boy simply replies that his name is Eric. Hrothgar explains to Kynan that Eric's parents are dead, and they are now looking after him. Afterwards, Wulfric invites Kynan to play a game called Shields, a popular game in the village. Several men line up, forming a path with their shields, and a contestant must climb up and walk across them. After stumbling several times, Kynan accidentally falls on Boromir, but instead of laughing, Wulfric extends a hand to help him, starting to open up to Kynan more. The villagers applaud their new member with joy. After leaving the hall, Kynan meets Freya again. She thanks him for helping her father during the patrol. Kynan then tells Freya the truth, that what killed the villagers wasn't a bear but the Merwin, and it could return to attack at any moment. Suddenly, Gunnar's warriors launch a surprise attack. A clash erupts between the two sides. Kynan and Freya fight together, managing to kill several enemies. Meanwhile, Hrothgar faces Gunnar, who charges so quickly that he is knocked to the ground. But before Gunnar can strike, Kynan appears and saves Hrothgar just in time. As Gunnar is about to get up and retaliate, his men stop him and lead him away. They declare that they have been defeated today and it's time to retreat. Although they withdraw, Gunnar shouts curses at Hrothgar, accusing him of killing his family and people. After the attack ends, the village begins to recover from the damage. Meanwhile, Freya tells Kynan about Gunnar, explaining that in the past, Wulfric's father tried to unite all the villages to plan an attack on the Franks. But Gunnar never showed up, which was seen as a betrayal, causing a feud between the two villages. Gunnar's group plans to attack Wulfric and his men again. One of them wanders off to urinate, but is attacked by the Merwin hiding in the lake. Soon after, Gunnar's men start dying one by one. They mistake it for an ambush by Wulfric's party. Gunnar finds himself standing alone before the monster and decides to confront it fearlessly. At the village, several men from Gunnar's group appear and surrender. They ask to enter the village to escape death, but Wulfric is suspicious thinking it might be a trap. He orders his archers to prepare to fire. Amidst the group, Gunnar appears. He survived the mowing and is now pleading for help. Arrows are then loosed, killing several of them. Kynan quickly tells everyone to stop before opening the village gate for the remaining enemies. As Wulfric is about to attack Gunnar, everyone sees several blue lights appear in the middle of the forest. They grab a man before devouring him in plain sight. The blue lights gradually turn red, revealing the Morn's true form. It then disappears into the forest. Now, everyone realizes the monster is real and not just one of Kynar's claims. Inside the hall, tension rises between Wulfric and Gunnar, with Gunnar insisting that fighting the Morwen is like striking a stone wall with a sword. Kynan interrupts, saying they cannot fight the Morwen in the open. The only way to deal with it is to set a trap. But Wulfric doesn't believe in the plan, stating Kynan is not one of them. Kynan then loses his temper with Wulfric, telling him he has been wrong many times, both about the bear and about Gunnar. The situation escalates to the brink of a fight, but Hrothgar intervenes and announces that he agrees with Kynar's plan, ordering everyone to follow it without argument. The next day, they begin building a trap at the village entrance. Kynan needs flammable materials. Everyone helps dig a deep pit, several meters down, and disguises it to look like an ordinary hut. Inside the pit, stakes are planted all over, and flammable liquid is poured in. When everything is ready, Hrothgar offers Kynan an official position in the village, declaring he is no longer an outsider. At the same time, one of the victims from the previous night's attack awakens amidst a pile of corpses, only to be killed by the Morwen. Meanwhile, at Freya's hut, she is eating with Kynan, but he confesses a certain truth to her. Kynan reveals that his people were actually conquerors of other worlds. When they arrived at the Morn's planet, Kynar's group used explosives to wipe out their species. The remaining Morwen were then hunted to claim the land. Kynan was part of a space colonization group, and in exchange for the power to eradicate creatures like the Morwen, he and his family were allowed to live on that planet. Later, after they had successfully colonized the territory, Kynan had to leave for a new mission. It was there he discovered a surviving Morwen. It had hidden in the ventilation system of a ship and killed everyone aboard. Kynan blames himself for letting all the terrible events happen, but Freya comforts him, saying he shouldn't bear the guilt alone. She then gives Kynan her family's ancestral sword. This will allow him to fight more effectively. Everyone prepares to spring the trap on the Morwen. When the warriors open the village gate, Wulfric and Kynan go outside, hoping the monster will appear. They can't see clearly. Seeing nothing happen, Kynan throws a torch into the forest and finds the Morwen standing right in front of them. Suddenly, the village priest appears unexpectedly. He tries to pray to drive the beast away, claiming to be an emissary of Lucifer, but the priest is instantly dispatched by the Morwen. Kynan and Wulfric start to flee, running past the trap and using their shields as a bridge to cross to the other side. However, Wulfric falls into the flammable liquid along with the beast. The situation worsens when the warriors quickly shut the gate, trapping Wulfric inside. But before the archers can shoot their flaming arrows, Kynan rushes in to save Wulfric, managing to pull him out just in time before the trap violently explodes. While everyone is still in shock, another, smaller Morwen appears from the rear, where the women and children are hiding. Seeing this, Freya rushes in to fight and protect everyone. Her father quickly comes to her aid, but after a short battle with the beast, he is left completely defenseless. Just as everything is getting worse, the original Morwen emerges from the flames again. Wulfric and Kynan decide to team up and attack, but they cannot withstand the monster's strength. Gunnar then joins the fight to help, but he is struck in the neck by the first Morwen and decapitated in an instant before it escapes. Shortly after, Eric appears and tells Kynan there is another Morwen at the back. The two of them rush to Freya, only to find a heartbreaking scene, Freya cradling the lifeless body of Hrothgar, who died in the fight. The next morning, all the villagers decide to evacuate, fearing the beast will return. Eric wants to stay with Kynan, but Kynon tells him the village is no longer safe and advises the boy to leave with the others by boat. Kynon then goes to find Wulfric, whom he finds in a state of despair. After what happened, he feels unworthy of the throne. Kynon tells Wulfric that they must work together to fight the monsters. The two gather a small group of young men to prepare to descend into the village well. Although the plan seems reckless, it's the only way to find the Morn's lair. Kynon asks Boromir to forge a new weapon for him, using a much stronger material. He says he will bring it himself. Kynon travels to the lake where his ship crashed, along with Freya and Wulfric, to dive down and retrieve some materials. As he is bringing up what he needs, Kynon is shocked to find another Morwen hiding in the water. As soon as he surfaces, Kynon finds their boat has been destroyed. Only an unconscious Wulfric remains, but Freya has vanished without a trace. Boromir uses the metal fragments from Kyna's ship to forge a new sword, much larger and stronger than any normal blade. When everything is ready, Kynon descends into the well and finds an entrance to an underground cave. He waits for his friends to join him, then everyone moves inside cautiously. Freya wakes up startled, finding herself in the monster's lair amidst piles of corpses. She tries to find a way to escape, but one of the Morwen spots her. However, before it can attack, the beast detects the movement of intruders. It leaves Freya and turns to hunt them instead. Kyna's group arrives at a cavern connected to lava. Soon, they are attacked by a Morwen. After chasing it, Kyna's group finds the entrance to the Morn's nest. They attack immediately, managing to wound the smaller Morwen, but it comes at a cost, as Boromir is killed in the event. Freya gets up again and tries to shout for help. She decides to step into a dark area, and Freya senses danger. Then, the injured Morwen appears. It has lost its sight and now relies on sound to hunt its prey. When it finds Freya, Kynon inadvertently makes a sound, and that's enough for the beast to lunge and attack. But Freya manages to get away, and tries to run to her companions. Freya needs to squeeze through a cave wall to escape, but the opening is too small. While she is trapped, Kynon hands her his sword, and Freya uses it to kill the Morwen instantly. Everyone is reunited, but instead of joy, their faces are filled with fear because the sight before them is a massive pile of corpses inside the cave. Hearing something approaching, they quickly flee. The last Morwen finds that its child is dead. It becomes enraged and pursues Kyna's group. Everyone flees to the edge of a waterfall on a mountain, right next to a cliff. They try to climb away, but the wall is too slippery and Freya nearly falls. But Kynon saves her just in time. Meanwhile, Wulfric becomes the target of the Morwen's attack. He fights with all his might, striking its face, but the Morwen flings Wulfric's body into Kynon with such force that he is knocked unconscious. This leaves Kynon to face the monster alone. He re-enters the cave with his trusted sword and manages to cut off the Morn's tentacles, though he still can't attack it directly. Kynon follows the blood trail before being ambushed by the Morwen. His body hits the ground hard, but just as the Morwen is about to finish Kynon from behind, Freya attacks the beast, giving Kynon an opening to counter. However, the Morwen drags Kynon to the edge of the cliff. As Freya tries to grab him, the Morwen holds Kynon tightly with all its strength. Kynon struggles with all his might and manages to grab his sword, cutting off the Morn's arm and causing it to finally fall from the cliff. The two of them hurry back to Wulfric, who is critically injured and near death. Wulfric asks if the Morwen is dead. When they both say yes, Wulfric hands Kynon the king's medallion, saying with regret that he never had the chance to build a good friendship with him. But Kynon corrects Wulfric, saying they were good friends to each other. And in that moment, Wulfric passes away peacefully. Kynon and Freya climb up from the cliff and find Eric and the remaining villagers waiting for them on a boat. The two share a kiss, but Kynon chooses to say goodbye to her, saying he still has things to take care of. Freya is worried, knowing she may never see Kynon again. Kynon returns to the wreckage of his ship, where it's revealed that his wife was sleeping in a cryopod. After the crash, the pod was damaged, leading to his wife's death. Kynon says goodbye to her before walking over to the computer. It is sending a signal, calling for his team members to come find him. Freya watches everything from the bushes as Kainan decides to destroy the computer, letting his only chance to return home slip away. In the end, Freya continues the narration, explaining that Wulfric and Hrothgar were buried with full honors, according to the highest traditions of Viking warriors, and Kainan, the stranger who was once just an outsider, became the new king, with Freya by his side as his queen, and Eric as their adopted son. Freya concludes the story by saying that even though Kainan was sent to this world from the land of the gods, in the moment of departure, he chose to stay with them. And with that, the movie comes to an end.